Perfect. All right, so welcome to this series. I am so grateful you're all here today. I know all of you are here to find out how to do better design in your business, whether you do your own design or not. You really want to take, your design from flab to fab, which is what we came up with for this week. This is a picture of me. And my name is Taylor Douglas. My name is Taylor Douglas, and I am a professional business and brand strategist and marketing strategist. We help people to build brands that work for them first so that they can attract their most magnetic clients and actually have a business that's good for their brains. My business partner, Beth, and I are both neurodivergent, and so we've built our businesses around autism and ADHD. And we love to help other people figure out exactly what they need to do to actually build their business around their personality, their brains, and have a business that really works for them and their lifestyle that they desire. Okay, so as you can see, as I was editing something, it looks like I messed up my own design slides. So first order of business is make sure you test your slides before you actually jump into your training, because it looks like I didn't. Okay, so what we're going to learn today, though, is we're going to learn some good graphic design principles, the common mistakes that I see most business owners or marketers make, how to find free images for your designs, the Canva tips and tricks that you didn't know you you didn't know you needed to know, and then how to actually define your own unique design style. So this image represents the two things that you need to consider before you start absolutely any design. You need to consider its function and you need to consider its feeling. When you are creating a graphic, a website, wherever you're putting design, it obviously has a purpose, but then there is also the brand behind the purpose. And both of these are just as important, because if you have something that is all function and no feeling, you will have a disconnect between like the personality of your business or the business that you're serving. And if you have something that is all feeling and no function, it'll look really awesome and it'll be really great, but you won't get the results that you're actually looking for. And so it's important to have both. So you need to know what it needs to do, and then what is the experience that it needs to communicate. Keep my chat open here so I can see. Make sure if you have any questions that you pop those in the chat while we're going, and I'll make sure that we get them answered by the end. So in design, absolutely nothing is meaningless. And this is where your brand comes in. We're not going to extensively cover brand today. I'm going to be covering primarily design and actual principles of design. However, if you're running a business or you're running a business for other people, branding is important. Brand is not just design. Brand is like the foundation of your house. Now, can you build a house with no foundation? Yes, you could. You could build a house with no foundation. You could just start putting up wood paneling, and you could create the walls and put it on the roof. But over time and eventually, it's going to fall. The walls are going to start to crack. It's going to lopse over to one side. And so this is important to know when it comes to design, because absolutely everything creates an experience. And everything creates an experience because human beings are designed to psychologically pull information from the things around them. So I have a question for you. In your own business, what kind of experience are you creating? I'm just going to stop sharing here for just like a second, and I want to actually get answers from you. What kind of experience, put it in the chat, do you want to create with your business? What emotions do you want people to feel when they come into contact with your business? A nature whimsical feeling. Very good. They want to feel taken care of. Love that. Deep level healing. Light, easy steps. A sisterhood of healing, luxury, support, and flow. Those are all really good ones. I want them to feel like they have a clean presence online. Inspiration. These are some really, really, really good ones. So design is how you get this feeling to your audience and to your clients when they're not actually having an interaction with you, because your brand is really your reputation. It's how people feel about you when you are around, when you're not around. And Design is one of the first places that people experience that in business. Stephanie wants them to have simple solutions and wants them to feel cared about. That's awesome. Let me just get my screen share back up here. Okay. Working. So making sure it's working properly. Oh my goodness, full screen. Okay, there we go. So everything creates that experience that you're talking about. So the first thing you want to consider, if you're new to our business, we have something called the brand identity profile, and brand identities are a really great personality system to help you actually figure out the energy of your business. I'm not going to go into it in depth today, but I'm just going to cover some of the three, major things here. In the brand identity profile, we've noticed that there are three types of brands. There are brands who are primarily nurturing, brands who are novel, and brands that are no nonsense. Now, when you take the actual profile, you get 4 different results for these 4 different energies. However, we're just going to cover the celebrity energy at the moment and the general. So nurturing typically is a lower contrast, lower saturated, more personalized kind of visual, whereas a novel brand is high contrast with bold imagery, and they're very, very wow. We've designed our brand to primarily face our audience as a novel brand. So you'll notice I have these really bold backgrounds with these textures that really pull your attention and make you feel like you're in some sort of experience. And then there's the no nonsense brands, which primarily are all about like getting to the point. So they typically are more of a monochrome, like black and white, lots of white space with pops of color and high-end imagery. And like I mentioned, there are these, you get 4 of them. This is my personal brand identity profile. And so I have nurturing energy and a very no nonsense energy. And so when we created this business together with my partner, Beth, we put novel and no nonsense together so that we could use both the bright pops of color, but then also use the white space. And you'll see that in this slideshow. Okay, so when you get your email at the end of this presentation, you'll actually have a link that you can go take that quiz if you want to get your own 14-page thing about it. So what experience do you want your brand to create? This is what you want to be considering every single time you create something for a client. What experience are you creating for their clients? When you create for yourself, what experience do you want to create in everything? So here are my primary fundamentals that you need to know as a do-it-yourself designer. Yes, Pam, one person can be nurturing and no nonsense because everybody has 4 profiles within the brand identities. So it depends on how your profile lands. But primarily design is here. Hold on, I'll show you. Primarily design will fall into your celebrity category. However, your content category will also influence the design. Okay, so the first thing is you have to know what the human eye does. We are all focused on human beings. And so the human eye tracks from the top left to the top right, back down, and then back over to the left. And so whatever you put in the top left corner is what they're going to see first. You'll see the number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. So when you're designing a graphic or a website, you want to know that that is where their eyes are going to go so that you can actually direct what they're going to do. You'll notice this on hero images on websites, where typically on the top left, it is like the boldest statement about what they do. There's usually some sort of imagery. You come back and you kind of find like the call to action right there underneath the one. And that is why it's created that way. The human eye notices things in graphics in this order, or in life in this order. It will notice light before dark, and then warm colors, yellows, oranges, reds, before it notices cool colors like blues and greens. Then you will notice sharp things over things that are supposed to say out of focus, non-focused things, if it's sharp over like a lack of focus, and then things that are high contrast. Second principle you need to know is hierarchy. Hierarchy is using size and color to present the most important information first. It's where the eye will be drawn. I'm sure you've all seen a meme like this. It says, you'll read this one first, you'll likely read this one second, and then this one, and then feel the need to read, this last one. You may possibly read the last one before this top one, but you definitely read the red one first. Compared to this, if you were to have some sort of design with this on it, you would read this from top to bottom. Whereas this one, your eyes are immediately drawn to the red text because that is what I wanted you to read first. And so you'll notice this difference is something you want to focus on when you're creating. Principle number 3 is contrast. This is being, different from something else so that you can actually have the visibility and attention that you need on your graphics or on your website or wherever you're creating. Contrast is a couple of different things. This is using color specifically to create contrast. You'll notice there on the left, it's a low contrast, and that can be very difficult to read. So if your color palette has softer colors, you do have to be intentional about ensuring that you use them on a darker background or make them a little bit darker so that they can actually be seen on a white background, depending on what your color palette looks like. Over on the right, we have high contrast using 2 different principles, using both text and the high luminescent colors. Now, this is different than saturation. So this is not about how bold the color is. It's not about having a lot of the color. It has more to do with the amount of, it's called luminescence in the color. There are a couple of ways to test luminescence, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. But now you notice if I change the background, what previously would have been low contrast is now high contrast. And what was high contrast now is a low contrast because the colors are really close together. The fourth thing you want to consider is color meaning. Colors have psychology behind them, and it's not just a free-for-all because you like specific colors. This is one of the more challenging, challenging principles to actually use for other people's businesses, because most business owners get stuck in that they just really like a certain color. They really like red, or they really like blue. It's their favorite color. It's what they want everything to be. And so when you are serving a client and you're just using, what they've created, you don't have a lot of choice in that. However, for your own brand, your colors that you choose for your brand should actually be based on the values of your business and those experiences that you want to create, because every color evokes emotion. It literally evokes emotion in your mind and your heart, and it actually lights up different places in your body. They've done studies on it. Most of the high-end, really, really big companies use blue, and you'll notice that. If you start to notice really big, successful companies have a very, very simple color palette. When you think of T-Mobile, what is their color? It's magenta. Do you associate any other colors with T-Mobile? No, because they use this color to evoke an emotion with you and create that brand recognition. If you don't know what your brand stands for, if you don't know what the values of your brand are or the customer experience you want to create, it can be very difficult to find the right color for your business. And it might actually keep you from attracting the right clients. Framing is the next one. Framing is highlighting the most important elements using some sort of frame. You'll see here that I actually took this and I put it in a box and I put it on a shadow so that it's obvious this is what I want you to look like, even though it's the only thing on the page. There's a lot of ways to do this, and there's a lot of different contexts in which you can do this. You can do this with imagery. When we started this, my picture had a cutout, right? I had taken a picture, I'd taken of myself, I cut it out and I put a shadow around it and I put it on the page. And that was a way of framing that image as the most important part of that image that I wanted to represent. I didn't need you to see the apartment complexes and the pool behind me that's in the actual photo. I only needed you to see my face. So I cut it all out so that you didn't have to focus on anything else behind me and it didn't take your attention away. Another way to do this would be to put boxes or put circles or put a color around the back of it. And you'll notice I do that through this. The next one is tension. Most people don't know about the existence of this particular principle. Tension is the kind of like visual stress that is created by having things close to another element. So this box creates a lot of tension over here next to the corners of its edges because it's really, really close to the edges. Now, because I'm a designer, it was really challenging to actually create like the bad designs to show you. And I am not one to like throw real human beings who are trying to create things under the bus by showing you their designs. So you'll notice right here is a representation of what that is like. And here it's a lot different. See how the tension around this box is a lot different. Your eye is pulled to a very different place. This one feels very tense with how close these are together, how close these are together. And it takes up a lot of the visual space in your mind. You're stuck staring at this box where really I want you to be looking at the words. So in this one, the box is a lot smaller. There's a lot more space around it so that there's not as much visual tension to actually draw your attention away from it. Yeah, Tara, so the workbook will be emailed to you when the class is over because I spent a long time making sure that this was right for you. So I'm going to be sending that over to you guys and you don't have to worry about it. We're not going to be doing any workbooky things during this particular training. And to combat tension is white space. White space is allowing items to have space around them. And that actually includes your whole document. You'll notice on most of these slides is there's space around everything so that, there's nothing that's too close to the edge. This line is not too close, to the text, and there's space between everything that allows your mind to just flow between them. Here's an example of this from a Canva template. So the one on the left is the template that was available. It says Happy Valentine's Day sale up to 50% off. And it's good, right? If you want to use the stuff I've made to show, I'm happy to be your writer. Yeah, Stephanie, I could pull that up. So you'll see that, there's a lot of overlap. These words are all very close together. And I did just like a very simple correction to make it more of a professional design. And so I didn't change very much. I made the font a little bit smaller so it didn't overlap the heart here. It had its own space around it. I took off the shadow of sail, made it a little bit bigger, gave it some more space. And now you'll see that it's just a lot easier to look at, but it's a very, very simple shift that I made. The next one is balance. Let's see, Pam said something. The white space is hard for me. I like big stuff. Yeah, I completely agree. I love big stuff too. But you want to make sure that you're very, very intentional about where you're actually directing the eye of people. So balance. Balance is the way that visual elements, are arranged so that it's all kind of in harmony. If you think about a scale, if you were to put this graphic on like a balance scale, it would be heavily imbalanced, to one side. You can see these images up here, they really create like this heaviness. And so if I wanted it to be balanced, the easiest thing for me to do would be to just duplicate this on the other side, opposite of it, to create that balance, kind of like I've done here, where you can see, like if I had just left this one up here, it'd be more of an imbalanced image. And over here, it's balanced. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to have the exact same element on both sides of the graphic or of the website. It does just mean that you need to visually kind of evaluate whether or not it's heavier on one side, like in like the top quadrant, the bottom quadrant, left or right, and just create something so that it could be an image, it can be just how bold the text is, how big, how small it is, and see if you can get something that's a little bit more balanced. So when you're designing for the brand identity profile, the things that you want to consider are, number one is going to be the color palette. Number two is fonts, like the type of font and what it's communicating, and the textures that you're using. So this texture that I'm using here is a very novel texture. You can see it has a lot of texture in it. There's a lot going on. It swirls. It has, you know, like little cuts in it. A more nurturing texture might be like water in the background. It would be much softer. And something that's a little bit more no nonsense would be something that's a lot cleaner, that doesn't have nearly enough, doesn't have as much texture. It would be more of solid colors. So here are the big mistakes I see people make. Okay, first of all, making this slide was so painful. But I had to do it. I had to do it for you to show you, because these are actual things that I see happen. Okay, number one, it's communicating way too many things. It's trying to put all of the information in the graphic, and you know, people do this because they think that the client or the audience is going to sit there and read the entire thing. And so they want to ensure they give the client absolutely everything they need on the graphic. They want to explain all the details, and they don't focus on communicating like the most important piece of information. So it's very crowded. The text is overlapping on this imagery, and is kind of overwhelming. Like if you came up on a graphic that looked like this, how long would you stay on that graphic trying to read it? Like if any of you would stay and actually read the whole graphic, like I give you the utmost, I'll give you a trophy for that, because most people wouldn't. You have a very short period of time to get people's attention. And if you put a huge block of text in any kind of copy or any kind of graphic, most people are going to leave that almost immediately unless it's extremely interesting. And people are going to click away. You'll notice the background here it's distracting against this text, because the colors changes. And so it makes it hard to read. And if anyone has any kind of like visual issues or like sensory processing issues, they have any kind of color blindness, this is going to be really, really hard for them to read. And notice I tossed in some, random emojis here. So what would you do to actually correct this? If I wanted, see guys, I totally messed up my slides on accident doing something. I'm showing you guys how important it is to check all your slides, I guess. So what people are doing is they're putting too much information, crowding other elements, overlapping text, and using random colors and emojis related to the brand. So you can see I took the same, kind of concept here, and I put it here. I'm going to show you guys exactly what I did to change all these colors so that you can avoid doing that if you're using Canva. Okay, mistake number 4, using too many fonts. Using too many fonts will create issues with your brand being recognizable. Also, if you make your fonts too small, or you pick fonts that you can't read, the font should be legible, clear, and you should only use 1 to 2 of them. Okay, let's see. So are there any questions so far? Oh, I can't see my chat. How did you cut yourself out? Good. Oh, good question. I'm going to show you that actually. I am going to definitely show you how I did that. So let me see here. That's coming up really soon. Okay. Another question. Guys, I just closed my whole thing. On top of it today, y'all. Okay, coming back here and opening this back up. So what are you considering so far? What are you seeing that you might struggle with in your own designs out of what I've shown you so far?
Can I speak out loud because it's taking me forever to type?
Yep.
Great. So I've been putting together a Facebook banner to communicate what I'm doing. So people, when they come to my page, they can be like, obviously she's doing this. And I've made something and I don't like it. And I don't know why I don't like it. So I looking at other people's, like trying to gather the good ideas that jive with me. And I like the cutout. So I'm glad you're going to go over of like how to cut yourself out. Canva is amazing and I'm starting to use it more so I can figure the thing out. But I'm not sure, is it a better idea to just communicate what you do or what the specific offer is on a Facebook banner? What is a good strategy? And I'm learning other things here with the, color scheme and framing and all that stuff. I have something that I've done, but I don't like it. So I didn't post it and I don't know how to fix it.
Okay, that's awesome. If it's in Canva, do you know how to share from Canva?
I could probably figure it out.
Okay, yeah, up in the right-hand corner, there should be a share button. And if you want to share it as a template, or however you figure out how to share it, I can kind of talk about that when we get into the Q&A here in just a minute.
Okay.
We'll go through it on next bit. All right, so back to my presentation. Guys, I went to my presentation and my stuff's actually right. Look, I don't know what happened. It must have been a Canva issue. It wasn't showing the backgrounds that I put on these. Isn't that so funny? Okay. So like I said, your font should be legible, clear, and you should just have 1 to 2 fonts in your business in general, but especially for per graphic. Mistake number 5 is using colors that vibrate. It's literally painful to look at these when they are too close together in color. So this is what I was talking about with contrast and luminescence, is when you have colors that are way too close together on a specific scale, it actually hurts the eye because they're too close together, so they're blending. And one way to test that is just take a screenshot or download your thing and then take it and make it black and white. Take out all the saturation, and you'll notice that you almost can't read these. And that's how you can know in a really simplest way if something actually has enough contrast. I saw a question from Pam, and I'll get to that in just a second. Okay, Pam. Mistake number 6, centering giant blocks of text or centering absolutely everything on a graphic. Centering giant blocks of text and everything else just makes it really hard to read because the brain, depending on where you are in the world, either reads left to right or right to left. And so you justifying things actually helps things to be more readable, even though people really like the idea of having everything centered because it has a cool visual look to it. From a functional perspective, it can actually be really, really difficult. If you just have the share link, Tara, you can share it in the chat and I can look at it and we can talk about it live. It's definitely the best way to me to give you some really good feedback. Okay, so how do you find imagery for your brand stuff? Okay, so once you understand the feeling of your brand and kind of the tone of your brand that goes along with your colors and all that, these are some really great places for you to find imagery. You can buy backgrounds, you can buy watercolor backgrounds, you can buy paint backgrounds, you can buy things like the one that I'm showing you right here. It's a really, really good place for you to search, and I'll show you where to find those on Canva also. Okay, so I'm going to show you all the Canva tips you didn't need to know. You didn't know you didn't need to know. Well, that you didn't know you needed. Can't say that, guys. And then I'm going to look through Tara's and Stephanie's thing and do some real. Actually, let's do that before we do Canva. So let me see. So here is Tara's new logo. Let's see that. Okay, use it as a template. Okay, so first things first here. As a logo. Okay, so you'll see here, you've got your mood board. This is a really, really great way to understand the feeling of your brand. And you'll see that it's, those lighter, more like lifestyle colors, has that kind of monochrome feeling with the lighter colors within the one pop of color, which is awesome because I do think that you have the no nonsense energy right in your brand. So here's what I'd say with logos. Number one, my question is, did you create this logo in Canva? That is my first question. Okay, so little thing about logos in Canva, if you're going logos, logos in Canva cannot be trademarked. So if you ever plan to trademark your logo, you won't be able to trademark this one because you're using, it wasn't created from scratch. You're using and creating elements that somebody else created. So you just have to be aware of that depending on what you're doing with your business. So if you're in marketing, for any of you who are in marketing, if you're going to create logos at all, you have to be able to create them from scratch and not in Canva. It's in the stuff that people don't read. I also didn't read it. Someone told me. So, okay, so let's look at this. So there's a couple of things here. The thing I will say about this logo in particular, from a logo perspective, is that it works in the digital world. This logo will work in the digital world. However, as soon as you want to put this on a t-shirt, as soon as you want to put this, like stamp it into a journal, if you want to get it lasered, if you want to make a, what's it called? Like if you want to do screen printing with this, that's going to be completely impossible. They're not going to be able to do that with the half moon on this side. And so you want to have that as one of your considerations when you're creating your logo is, can you actually use this in other mediums? And the answer for this one, now this side, with the dots and the lines, yes, you could definitely do that. But the side with the moon, you definitely could not. It is a good design for the digital world. Second thing I would say is, let's back up here and look at these other ones. The second thing I would say is it is very complex. So look at it at this size. Can you see all the lines and everything? They kind of disappear when you get further away. So I'm looking at it on my phone, and it's about this big on my phone, and I cannot make out what the imagery actually is. And so that would make it really hard for you to have that brand recognition because I can't actually tell what it is. As for the font, this is a fair font to use for a logo because it is clean. It is easy to read. Like I can read it even though it is cursive. Even though it's cursive, I can read it. And so that's good. When you're using cursive fonts in design, you want to make sure that you can actually read them. And so I would ask yourself, Tara, are you planning on using it in other mediums? Are you planning on only keeping it digital? Most people answer yes to that, and then they have an opportunity to do something really cool with their logos, and then they have to completely recreate their logo. So I just want you to know that. Anything else here I would consider? The thing that is really good about this that you're actually doing correctly is that it is identifying your business rather than explaining it. So if you were doing minimalism stuff and you had a cleaning bottle, that is explaining your business with your logo versus identifying your business with your logo. So let's see, do you have any questions about any of that feedback? Let's see if you said anything. How would you create a moon logo for me? Do they have access to pictures they can use? Yeah, so most graphic designers that create logos should be creating them literally from nothing in Adobe or Photoshop or whatever design platform that they want to use. And if you want it to be a moon, what usually they should do, if you're going to go find someone to do it, is have them create it in one color first. It needs to work in one color. I'll show you, show you something that we did with, hold on, it might take me just a moment to find this. With Stephanie's logo the other day, I gave her some feedback on her logo. Oh, here it is. Okay, so she posted this on Facebook and she just gave me permission to talk about this, so I will. So she posted these on Facebook and she said, hey, you know, what of these are going to work? And I said, oh, I don't know, probably none of them. So let me see. And so, but I told her why. So these are the ones she was looking at. And as you can see, there's a lot going on with all of these. There's a lot of different fonts. There's a lot of overlapping. And I said, okay, let's make it one color. What happens if this is on one color, right? Like it all blends together and you can't actually tell the differentiations between the text. Most of them did that. If they were all black, you wouldn't be able to read any of the text. Okay, so oh, I don't know if I saw you post your new logo or not. I think you did. Hold on. Just getting the insight into my world here. Where is she there?
I didn't post like the logo by itself, but it's on a picture that's.
I'm like, I swear I saw it.
There it is. Yeah.
Okay, so this is what, after I gave her some feedback, this is what she came up with instead. And as you can see, even really small, like this far away, it's legible. Like you can see that explore. And then when you get a little bit closer, you can read like the best life. And she'll be able to use that really easily on the things for what she's created. Okay, so then let's see. Do you have to stick with brand standards when answering this question here? When creating graphics all the time, what if there's a fun font that I want to use for creating a fun graphic? Is that okay to do? So this is going to just depend on what your brand guidelines are. So I will occasionally use a different font to just put some emphasis into something or do something fun, but I don't do it with every graphic and don't do it every time. The point of having the same fonts on a regular basis is brand recognition and using your fonts to actually communicate, you know, different things about your personality. So I would say that it is okay to do every once in a while, depending on your brand. If you have one of those brands that's really fun, I have encountered brands that do this on purpose, like they intentionally want to use different things all the time. And so you just have to, you know, check in with yourself, like, is this intentional, or do I just really like this font? That kind of thing. Okay, and let's look at, Stephanie sent me this. Gotta share it. Oh, sharing my screen. I have something really great for this. So Stephanie, you're creating this for your background on Facebook. Love it. Okay, well, first things first, even though I know you said already, like, I don't like this, I want to show you something. Let's look at this really quick. If I were to go put this on my Facebook page, when you're creating graphics for Facebook, you have to be considerate of their standards for graphics. So this is what it looks like on a computer. Okay, number one, it's going to cut off some things. You have to like, it's going to either be here or here, and you're not going to be able to see the whole image. It will look different on mobile. And that is where Facebook creates a challenge for people, is it's actually going to look different on mobile, because mobile will actually show the entire thing versus this particular shape won't show the whole thing. So you can see I have one here that you can see the specific things here, but as you notice, it's bigger than that when you click into it, because on mobile, it's going to show the whole thing. And on Canva, it's not to. So hold on, let's see here, going back to the chats. Yeah, Canva's template sizes, you should not trust them. Unfortunately, not all of Canva template sizes are correct. So you want to be checking in with Facebook's actual template sizes that they use. So Stephanie, what would we do to make this different? So number one, what I would do, hold on, let's close Stephanie's thing. No, not Stephanie, Tara's thing. I actually created a template for Facebook so that I could design something that would work for both the computer and the phone. And you can do this in different ways. Like you could use yours and do it differently, but I'm going to just do this so I can show you live here what I would do this. Okay, I'm gonna take all of this stuff, put it on this thing. Okay, copy here. Oh, it didn't copy, hold on, copy. Where did it go? There we go. No, what? Doesn't like me. Copy. Paste. It's not pasting. All right, well, that's okay. We will just do it here. Let me see if I can move stuff. Okay. Okay, so Stephanie, I don't want to change that. I'm gonna make a new copy of it. And here's what I might do with this. So these are your colors and everything, right? I'll show you how to take your background out of this picture, and we'll just show you the Canva things you need to know using Stephanie's here. So number one thing you wanna do is to know is how to take a background out of a picture. So you wanna click on the picture, click edit image, and when you come here, there is a background remover button. If you click background remover, Canva magically will do it all by itself. It takes a little second and it does that. Boom, no more background on her picture. When you have curly hair, you'll notice how crazy it looks without a background. Find that. But see, look, now you don't have a picture. What was your intention with the boxes? That's my question.
I don't know. I just thought I needed to be looking finished, and I figured if I threw some lines on there, it'd look done, but it doesn't.
Yeah, Jennifer, the background remover is a premium feature. So Canva, I think it's like $12 or $14 a month, but it comes with a lot of features that are very useful if you use it on a regular basis. Yes, so okay, you just wanted to look finished. Okay, so you'll see now that you are a floating body. There's a couple of things we can do about that. You can add some sort of box around you to make it so you're not a floating body, or you can just put yourself on an edge so you no longer look like you're floating. If I was going to take what you had here and create an image for your Facebook page, here's what I would do. I would, wonder if it'll let me paste it this time. No, okay. It's fine. So what I would do is you'll see we have that, what I said here about the boxes go over here, about the centering everything. And that's totally great. I would add a little more white space with your blues. I would make your logo smaller and probably put it over here in the corner, because your logo doesn't need to be the focal point of your business, your message does. So purpose, passion, and capacity. Something you can do with graphics is you can actually push the lock button. You can push lock and then you can't move that thing again. So I just locked that blue box so it would stop moving. And so already just by moving these things and kind of moving those boxes away, this is already looks very different. And I didn't hardly do anything to it at all. So in order to make it work on both the computer and on your phone, on the phone it's going to have like a big circle right here in the middle. So you'll have to be aware of that. I would make you a little bit bigger here. And something else you can do is you can add shadows if you want. So if you go back where it said add image, click a shadow. You can do a drop shadow. We use these in ours. You don't have to use yours, but it does create a texture and kind of a finished look. Okay, now you have a little shadow behind you. Ta-da. And let's see what it would look like if I put this on your page now. On Facebook. So the secret to really professional graphics is simplicity, honestly. The simpler, the better. That doesn't mean all white space, doesn't mean anything like that. So see, you can drop this down right here so that it can actually be seen. And then on, we could bring this logo up so that it can be seen here. Then on mobile, you're actually gonna be able to see this entire thing. So I would just play with that just a little bit, play with the spacing, play with what it needs to look like, download it on your phone, see what it looks like on mobile before you actually upload it. And that is how you can make a really cool banner image that actually doesn't cut everything off. And so that is good. Okay. Another option would be like just to make it smaller. Whoops. Bring it down a little bit like this. And then, it would kind of do the same thing. So you can play with that. Reach out if you need help with it. Okay.
Thank
Go
you.
back. You're so welcome. Okay, back to all these Canva tips for our last 8 minutes. So let's see. Let's create an Instagram post so I can just show you all the cool tips. Let's pick some random one here. Let's just use this one. All right. Here are all the things that you need to know about Canva in order to create really, really great designs. Number 1, all of your text things. On Canva, you can actually upload your custom fonts, and you can create, if you're on this page here, if you pay for the pro version, I guess I need to clarify this. If you're going to be working on more than one brand, this is really, really good, is you can create brand kits. So you can come back here and you can decide you want to create a brand kit. You name your brand kit, whatever you want to name it. And then you can actually upload your logos, you can upload your brand colors, you can upload your fonts, decide all of your styles that you have in that particular brand. And then when you are in your creation here, you can go to your brand kits. Where's this here? Don't need templates. So you go to more. No. Oh, sorry, hold on, let me do fonts. So your brand kit stuff will show up right here. And you can choose your brand kit that you want to use. So if I use this one, I picked it up, it brought up, Metropolis and all this. So I click okay, I want to use this font instead. I want to use this one here. They're all connected, so they're all changing everything. But then if I'm okay, I need to update the colors, I can come in here that has all of my colors. So if I'm I want everything red to be blue, and this, you can click, okay, I want that to be blue. Okay, I want this one to be red. But notice what you aren't going to notice this if you're new that's not what I mean. If you take this down here, it just told me, oh, do you want to change all of the black ones to red? And I could say, yeah, I definitely want to change them all to red. So then it changed all of them to the same color. Okay, so that is one thing that you really want to know, is that you can house your fonts in here, and it'll show you all your recently used fonts or ones that you select in your brand kit. So you can actually keep the ones that you use on a regular basis there. You can change the sizing, by dragging it or by typing it, your colors, all that stuff, make it all capitalized, make it not capitalized, and alignment. Alignment is important. So if these, you notice here, you can drag and select all of them, align them all how you want them to. But if you've ever had this happen, you notice they're not aligning when I push left align. They're all aligned in their own boxes. So this is the thing you want to know. You need to know about positioning. Up here in the right-hand corner, you'll see this little button called position. Okay, you click position, and then you can left. So if I click left justify on this one, it's going to make all of their boxes justify to the left. And so now they're all aligned on the left, or they can all align in the center. Or I can align them all to the right. And so there's 2 places you have to pay attention, is aligning the actual text inside of their own box, then aligning the text to each other. If you wanted them to be equal on the page, so say I have them really randomly here. So if I was creating a workbook and I had them if I was okay, question 1, and then I was I want to ask some other questions. So I have a bunch of questions and I want them all left justified over here on the left, and I want them even, but I don't want to have to take the time to measure and figure out how to do it. You can highlight all of them either by clicking Control or Command on your computer, selecting all of them, or Shift, or dragging across all of them. Click position. I'm going to drag them all to the left, and then I'm going to align them vertically. Now they're all aligned perfectly with each other, and they're all spaced differently. So that is one thing you can do. That is really awesome. Second thing is being able to use, there are some that are not paid. So using Canva's photos. So if they have pro, or taking the not pro versions, if I wanted a picture of trees, I can search trees boom, tons of trees here. If I'm like, this is the one I want to use all the time in my business, what you can do is you come over here, zoom in here. You come over here and you click the 3 dots. Well, it's a lonely tree. Okay, so it has all these different keywords. So this is one way to figure out what some keywords for imagery can be. But you can star this one to add it to your favorites, or you can actually add it to a folder. So you can say, okay, I want to add this to a folder. I want to create a folder with cool trees, or, you can just put your brand name or whatever, if you're doing something specific, and then it's in your folder. So I can come over here when I'm designing anything else, click on folders, and I can either look through all of the designs I've already done, or I can say, okay, where's my trees folder? Boom, here's my trees folder. Here's my trees. Awesome. So you can do that with a number of things. You'll notice that I have a bunch of, I've got a bunch of folders in here. I have one that has like a ton of elements that I purchased and like uploaded to Canva. So I have a ton of these backgrounds and things that I've bought to be able to use on graphics. Okay. Other things about Canva you didn't know you needed to know, whereas when you download something, this piece is important. You need to be downloading your pictures in high quality if you're using them on social media or anywhere else. You can actually download it in any of these formats. I suggest a PNG unless you're printing something, which you can do the PDF or the videos. And you want to make it at least 1.5 times the size that you need, so that when social media is going to condense it down anyway. So you want to make sure it's a higher quality when it actually gets condensed down. But if you wanted to put this on your website, you'd want to make it bigger so that it actually like had the high quality and was in focus. Do you need to download every time? Avoid sharing the link. Well, there's different ways that you can share the link. So you can share the link as an edit, a template, or a view link. And so it depends on what you want to do with it. You don't have to download it every time, but if you're going to go put it somewhere else, then you're going to want to download it. And you don't want to give people access to edit your stuff on accident. Okay, anything else about it that you need to know here? You can do the same saving thing with graphics and also like frames and things like that. The last thing I want to show you here is frames. So you've all seen those really cool pictures of like a mock-up when people put all of their imagery for a course inside of a mock-up, right? So stuff like this. We've all seen cool pictures like this and you're like, how do people do that? It's really cool. But it looks like something that's not accessible to like the normal human being. But I'm going to tell you that it is. Okay, so what you want to do is inside of Canva, you can come down here to the elements and you can look in frames. So if you scroll down, you can search for a phone. Oh, there's a phone. Awesome. And now I can take any picture that I want. I can take any picture I want and I can upload it into the phone. Oop, there you go. So if I had a picture, like if I take a screenshot on my phone of something. So if I took a screenshot of this, there we go. So if I took a picture of anything, right, like this, upload it here. I can put it in here. So you can actually, this is one way that you can highlight courses and highlight, your social media and stuff and actually look really cool while you're doing it. Last thing is shadows. That's the one thing I wanted to make sure you know about is how to create a shadow for your photos and stuff. So like if I took this picture and click edit image, and if you go here, right, this is my recently used, but if you scroll down, there's tools here. You can do some smart mockups, which they have a bunch of mockups here you can use to like make, if I wanted to put this picture on a laptop like this, it'll just put that picture right in the laptop. And we're 1 minute over the time we're supposed to be at, but now that picture's on a laptop. So if you took a screenshot of your home screen on your course or something, you can make some really cool pictures doing that. Okay, what else here? So if I want to take this now I would be aware though, sometimes these mockups can kind of get messed up. Like it's not exactly all the bugs are worked out. But if you wanted to put a shadow on it, I could put a shadow, on the whole thing. And now you can see that there's a shadow behind the whole thing that I can actually make it bigger, make it smaller, or whatever you want to look like. So now it just looks like that picture is popping off the page, which is really cool. There's a lot of stuff you can do with that. Okay, a secret resource I want to just tell you guys about. If you go down to your front page, I can't teach you everything about Canva, in this thing, but if you go to the Canva home page, oh, it's not going to let me do there. Hold on. Does it do it in settings? So if you go down, if you click canva.com and you just click design school, designschool.canva, that you can actually come in here and you can learn about design from Canva. They'll teach you all the stuff that I just told you and a lot more. They have business resources. They have all kinds of stuff in here. So you can actually go to like design school and say, okay, well, how do I create a logo? How do I create this? How do I create branding? I don't like 100%, they're giving you the basics of branding, which is just, find your colors, your fonts and all that stuff. Let's go back to here really quick and just finish this up. Any other questions come up during any of that? Tara, if you're in MBM, you'll get access to these, and I'll message you about that when we're done. All right, so you guys heard me mention the brand identity profile a few times. If you're not in any of our programs, you probably don't know what yours is, or if you haven't spent a lot of time around us. But the brand identity profile is actually a full-on personality program for your business. So this goes far beyond design. It goes into your style. It goes into how you manage your community, what kind of content you put out on social media, your values. There's so many different things that it could possibly be that I want you to understand just how comprehensive it can actually be. So it's sharing, not the right thing. There we go. So we have actually just launched this course called the Reputation Reset. It's an 8-week course to help you go from chasing all the trends and followers and to actually harnessing your own influence and loyalty that you can create in your brand by simply learning about your brand identity profile and learning how to be yourself in these 4 areas. The beliefs and opinions that are generally held about you, that's what your brand is. It really is your reputation. And Beth and I are masterful at helping you to actually discover your own and discover how to actually take off all of the things that people have put on you as you've been building your business, all of the opinions of other people, all of the coaches coaching coaches to coach coaches, and actually show you how you really can build a business with your own personality, with your own way of doing it. The way that I do this is going to be very, very different than the way that Tara does this, than the way that Pam does this. And you should be able to build your brand around you in a way that works for you, be able to be able to set boundaries, and stuff around your clients and manage your community. And, some people are going to be really all about the standards in their communities, whereas other people really want to hold space for everyone to actually go through their processes, and everything is perfect. And not every strategy is going to work for everybody. So if you're ready to up-level your business and you want to hop in this, we actually have a special deal going on right now until Friday, because we just launched this. We're in pre-sale. And so we're starting our 8-week course the beginning of March. It's going to be masterful and powerful. And it's $1,000 if you join right now, but it goes up to $2,000 on Saturday. So if you want information about that, you can message me. I think we're all connected on social media, or you can put it in the chat like, hey, will you just, call me after this? And I can let you know if you want more information about that. Or if you're way past, hey, I want to, reset my reputation into, I really want to build a bodacious, powerful, incredible brand. We have stuff for you too. And you can book a discovery call if you are interested in doing that. In the workbook that you get sent in your email after this, we'll also have a link to this as well. All right, everyone. Thank you all for being here. Oh, thanks for for clapping. Appreciate that. Again, my name is Taylor Douglas. And if there's any questions, go ahead and just pop those in the chat. I'm happy to stay for another like 5 minutes if anyone has any other questions about anything. But thank you all for being here, and love you. We'll see you later.
Thank you, Taylor.
You're welcome. Thank you. You're welcome. Lots of thank yous. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Awesome. You rock too, Katie. All right, everyone. See you later.